We're going to take a look at lesson 3.3 and we're going to start with the practice. So we're still talking about two-way tables and relative frequency tables, and they can be really helpful for making decisions. For example, this total relative frequency table on the right and its corresponding two-way table. The tables show the data gathered by Tayani's principal about which field trip students would prefer to go on, whale watching or art museum. The relative frequency table shows that Tiani's homeroom has a stronger preference for whale watching than the other homerooms, but the two-way table shows that there are more students overall who would prefer to go to the art museum. So it can help us in making a decision about which can fit, the majority of the people. So problem 1 says a group of student athletes set personal goals for a big race. After the race, they were asked whether they practice daily or not. So what does 35% represent? So here's 35. So 35% of the total students practiced daily and achieved their goal. So they did both of those things. They both practiced daily and achieved their goal. Beautiful. Go ahead to the next slide. A group of people were asked whether they have any siblings and whether they have any pets. What percent of people have no siblings and no pets? So we have the total amount of people that have pets is 20.5 plus 26. Let's go to our calculator. Is 46.5 total, or percent of the people have pets, which means 100 minus 46.5 is 53.5 students do not have pets. So what that means is now we can find this missing box here, because if we do 53.5 minus 35.5, there's 18% have no siblings and no pets. So to be able to find the missing value for this one, we had to find one of our totals first, and then we could figure out what the missing value was from there. Beautiful. Next slide. A fashion magazine asked 250 people whether they wear a belt and a watch each day. Use the data in the relative frequency table to complete the frequency table. So our relative frequency gives us the percentages. We also know what our grand total is. This is important. 250 people. So that goes in that bottom corner, right? So for the first one, we know 55 people don't have a watch but wear a belt, and that's 22%. So if we double that, 44%, we could just take 55 and times it by 2 to get 110. So since 44 is double 22, we can just double the numbers and that will work. If we weren't sure, we could find 44% of 250. When you're doing this, what we do is we take 44% and we make it a decimal, which is dividing it by 100. 0.44 percent means out of 100, right? This is 44% out of 100, so 44 divided by 100 is 0.44, and then we multiply that by 250. And when we do that, we'll get 110, just like we saw right here. So let's do another one. If we're finding 20% of 250, right? We're doing 0.2 times 250. And that gets us 50. So this is 50 people wear a watch but no belt. And then this is all the people. So we could add them up and figure out what's left, or we could just find 14% of 250, which is 0.14 times 250, which gets us 35. Beautiful. So that's our frequency table all filled in. Make sure that when we have a percent, if we're finding a percent of a number, we want to make that percent into our decimal form. That's an important part of this lesson here. And then multiply it by the whole. Push ahead to the next slide when you're all set. Scientists gave 2 different treatments to people who have the flu, treatment 1 and treatment 2. Some people improved, some people did not. The two-way table shows all the results. What percent of people receiving treatment 1, so we have to be in our treatment 1 column, had improved health? So in treatment 1, this many people improved health. So 28 people divided by all the people that did treatment 1, which is 51. 28 divided by 51, if we want to make this into a percent, we times it by 100, and we get 54.9% of people. Beautiful. For the second one, what percent of people that got treatment 2, so now we're looking at treatment 2, had improved health? So that's 30 out of 68 for all the people with treatment 2. And then we're going to multiply that by 100 again, and we get 44.1%. So it looks like now that we see the percentages, we can see it's more likely that you'll have improved health if you do treatment 1 over treatment 2. Beautiful. Clear my board, go to the next slide. A random sample of people who were asked about their preferences in home decoration and their interest in fashion. Use the information to complete the two-way frequency table. So 150 people completed the survey. So we see our 150 down here in the bottom right. 70% of the people do not enjoy fashion. So we want 70% of 150. So we have 0.7D times 150 is 105. Do not enjoy fashion. Which means 150 minus 105 is 45 people do enjoy fashion. 33 of the people who prefer neutral decorations also don't enjoy fashion. So that's here. They prefer neutral and don't enjoy fashion. Beautiful. 20 of the people who enjoy fashion also prefer colorful decorations. There we go. I'm going to leave you a little challenge here to finish these last 4 boxes. Use subtraction, think critically about how we can get those numbers so that our totals add up correctly. So we have most of it filled out, so take a moment, pause the video, and get those other boxes all filled out. And when you're all set there, you can go to the next slide. Okay. Oh, we need our frequency table for the next slide. Huh. Okay, well, let's go back and fill it in then. So 20 plus 25 gets us that 45. 105 minus 33 is 72. 20 plus 72 is 92. And then 150 minus 92 is 58. Beautiful. So now it's all filled in. Okay, so it says a random sample of people were asked about their preferences in home decoration. We have all that information. So now we're going to create a total relative frequency table. So each of these numbers we are dividing by 150. So notice that 150 divided by 150 is 1, which is 100%. So 45 divided by 150 is 0.3, which means this has to be 0.7. Oh, sorry, 0.3, which is 30%, which means this is 70% because it's going to add to our 100%. And then at the bottom, 92 out of 150, if we times it by 100, we get 61.3%. And of those that prefer neutral, we're looking at 58 over 150. And then timesing it by 100 to get 38.7 rounded. Beautiful. Now I'm going to have you work through those other 4 boxes there. You're taking each of these numbers and dividing it by our grand total of 150, and you want to round it to the nearest tenth, right? So we're looking for one place after the decimal point. All right, final slide is a little spiral review. So if you think back to Module 1, we talked about arithmetic versus geometric. So arithmetic has our constant difference. So we're thinking of addition or subtraction. And then geometric is constant ratio. So we're thinking of multiplication or division. So for the first one, 3, 6, 12, 24, we can see that each time we're multiplying by 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24, so that's going to be geometric. What do you see about the other two? Take a moment to fill that out, and then take a look at your reflection slide at the end. Make sure you're sharing something that you're feeling proud of. I want to hear that. Those are really important to me, so please make sure you're filling that out, and then submit this into Schoology when you're finished. Take care, my friends. Awesome job. Bye, everyone.